What's up guys, Brock here from The Modest Man, a blog dedicated to helping shorter men look great and feel more confident. If it's your first time here, click the link below the video to get your free copy of How to Dress Taller, 11 Crucial Style Tips for Short Men. Here's the deal, it's not easy being a short man in this world. Sometimes it feels like everyone is against us. We're constantly being told all these negative things like, tall men make more money, tall men date more women, women like taller men better. Science shows that tall men are more attractive and the taller candidate always wins. Well, first off, a lot of these quote-unquote facts aren't even true. And even if some of it is, it's not a helpful way of thinking. Why all the negativity towards shorter men? Gentlemen, let's change this by talking about some of the amazing small men who have made a huge impact on the world. In no particular order, here are 100 remarkable short men everyone can look up to. Martin Luther King Jr. At 5'7", he led the African American civil rights movement using nonviolent civil disobedience and was one of the best public speakers of all time. Bruce Lee, probably the most famous martial artist of all time, and the creator of Jeet Kune Do. Winston Churchill, at 5'7", the greatest wartime leader of the 20th century and winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature. Napoleon Bonaparte. Yes, people make fun of the Napoleon complex, but in reality, this man won hundreds of battles to seize control over most of Europe in less than 10 years. Uriah Faber, one of the best pound-for-pound mixed martial arts fighters in the world. Gandhi. Gandhi, gentlemen, at 5'4", he ignited freedom across the world by leading India's independence movement using nonviolent civil disobedience. Josh Hutcherson, co-star of one of the highest-grossing film franchises of all time, The Hunger Games. James Madison, at 5'4", he served as the 4th President of the United States. He helped draft the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Rivers Cuomo, at 5'6", he founded Weezer, an American rock band that sold over 17 million albums worldwide. Prince, at just 5'2", that did not stop him from winning 7 Grammy Awards, selling over 100 million albums, and being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Andrew Carnegie, also 5'2", went from a poor immigrant to a wealthy businessman by leading the growth of the American steel industry, and then he gave away almost all of his fortune. Robin Williams, rest in peace, entertained the world through his work in such films as Good Will Hunting, Dead Poets Society, Aladdin, and Mrs. Doubtfire. Bob Marley, 5'8", sold over 75 million albums while popularizing reggae music and Rastafarianism worldwide. Robert Downey Jr., at just 5'8", played Tony Stark in the blockbuster film series Iron Man. He also overcame addiction. Martin Short, at 5'7", he won numerous awards for his role in plays and films like Three Amigos, Father of the Bride, and of course Saturday Night Live. Paul Simon, 5'3", won 12 Grammy Awards as a solo singer-songwriter and one half of Simon and Garfunkel. Yuri Gagarin, 5'2", the first human to enter outer space. Charlie Chaplin, at 5'5", became one of the most famous people in the world during the silent film era by writing, directing, producing, scoring, and starring in all of his own films. Frodo Baggins, at just 3'6", he's famous for returning the One Ring to Mount Doom. Bono, 5'7", the frontman for rock band U2 and one of the most influential philanthropists in the world. Ulysses S. Grant, 5'8", led the Union Army to victory as commanding general during the Civil War and served as the 18th President of the United States. Tom Cruise, 5'7", sure, he might be a little crazy, but he's also one of the most famous actors in Hollywood and probably one of the most powerful celebrities in the world. Pablo Picasso, 5'4", co-founded one of the most influential art movements of the 20th century, Cubism. Tom York, at 5'6", he writes and performs for the award-winning, best-selling alternative rock band Radiohead. Peter Dinklage, 4'5", won an Emmy and a Golden Globe Award for his role as Tyrion Lannister in HBO's hit series Game of Thrones, probably one of my personal favorite characters of all time. Al Pacino, just 5'7", played two of the most famous Hollywood mobsters in The Godfather and Scarface. Michael J. Fox, 5'4", starred in Back to the Future, of course, and he's helping find a cure for Parkinson's disease. Roger Daltrey, 5'7", the singer for The Who, one of the greatest rock bands of all time. Voltaire, 5'3", wrote thousands of poems, plays, books, letters as one of the most influential thinkers of the Age of Enlightenment. Tyrone Muggsy Bogues, 5'3", the shortest man to ever play professional basketball in the NBA. Ben Stiller, 5'8", writing, starring, and directing and producing more than 50 films that have grossed billions of dollars worldwide. Woody Allen, 5'5", one of the most influential and successful actors, writers, comedians, and directors of all time. He's been nominated for 24 Academy Awards. Harry Houdini, 5'4", the most famous escape artist of all time. Daniel Radcliffe, 5'5", starred in the Harry Potter series, the highest-grossing film franchise to date. Humphrey Bogart, 5'8", appeared in over 75 films, including Casablanca, and going down in history as one of the greatest American movie stars of all time. Dustin Hoffman, 5'6", winning 2 Academy Awards and 13 Golden Globe Awards for movies like The Graduate, Rain Man, and Hook. Bruno Mars, at just 5'6", rose to fame incredibly quickly to become one of the best-selling musical performers of all time and Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter. Jack Black, 5'6", starred in Hollywood hits like King Kong, Tropic Thunder, and Kung Fu Panda, also co-founded the comedic rock band Tenacious D. Spud Webb, 5'7", he won the NBA Slam Dunk contest as one of the shortest players in the league. Kevin Hart, 5'2", an award-winning actor, comedian, writer, and producer. Ludwig van Beethoven. Beethoven, people. 5'3", earning the status as one of the most famous and influential musical composers of all time. CeeLo Green, 5'6", composing hit songs like Forget You and Crazy, also appearing on NBC's reality show The Voice. Aziz Ansari, one of my personal favorites. He starred in NBC's Parks and Recreation. He's a hilarious comedian and an extremely well-dressed man. Danny DeVito, 5'0", co-starred in Taxi, Batman Returns, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He also co-produced movies like Pulp Fiction and Garden State. Jason Schwartzman, another one of my personal favorites, 5'6". He acted in movies like Rushmore and The Grand Budapest Hotel. He also played drums in the rock band Phantom Planet. Mark Wahlberg, 5'8". He was the rapper Marky Mark, a Calvin Klein underwear model, and an award-winning actor and producer. Jon Stewart, just 5'6", gentlemen. He hosted the news program The Daily Show, and he won 19 Emmy Awards. Elton John, 5'7", sold over 300 million records, and co-wrote more than 50 top 40 hits over a 50-year musical career. James Logan Howlett, aka Wolverine, most famous for defeating his arch-nemesis Sabretooth and holding his own against the Hulk in some of the most epic battles the Marvel Universe has ever seen. Gentlemen, the real Wolverine from the comic books is just 5'3". Jason Bryant Acuna, 4'1". He played Wee Man in the MTV reality franchise Jackass and is also a professional skateboarder. Apollo Ono, 5'8", won 8 medals in the Winter Olympics. Mario Andretti, 5'7". He's the only race car driver to win the Indianapolis 500, Daytona 500, and Formula One World Championship, not to mention over 100 other major wins. Probably the best racer of all time. Yogi Berra, 5'7", one of the best Major League Baseball catchers of all time. He was named MVP 3 times, and he's famous for saying things like, "It ain't over till it's over." Henry Winkler, aka The Fonz on the classic American sitcom Happy Days, was just 5'6". Hey, Beck, 5'7". Won 5 Grammy Awards as one of the most influential and diverse multi-instrumentalists and composers of our time. Jason Alexander, 5'4", played George Costanza on one of the greatest TV series ever, Seinfeld. Martin Scorsese, 5'3", directed iconic films like Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Gangs of New York, and Departed. Manny Pacquiao, 5'7", first and only boxer to win titles in 8 different weight classes, and he was elected to the Philippine House of Representatives. Genghis Khan, 5'1", formed the Mongol Empire. Flea, at 5'6", he's the bassist and co-founder of the legendary and long-lasting rock band Red Hot Chili Peppers. T.E. Lawrence, also known as Lawrence of Arabia, which is 5'5". Sean McCool at 5'7", he's earned multiple professional climbing medals, and he won American Ninja Warrior. Truman Capote, 5'4", wrote iconic literary classics like Breakfast at Tiffany's and In Cold Blood. Jonah Hill at 5'7", he has written for and acted in critically acclaimed films like Moneyball, The Wolf of Wall Street, Superbad, and Knocked Up. Lionel Messi, 5'7", garnering the reputation of one of the best soccer players of all time by the humble young age of 27. Mel Brooks, 5'4", he's won an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Award. Salvador Dali, 5'7", one of the most prominent surrealist artists in the world. Bob Dylan, the Bob Dylan, was just 5'6". He's won 11 Grammy Awards, and he's definitely one of the most successful and enduring singer-songwriters ever. William Faulkner won 2 Pulitzer Prizes and the Nobel Prize for Literature. He was 5'6". Alfred Hitchcock, also 5'6", earned the nickname of the Master of Suspense. He might be the greatest British filmmaker of all time. Spike Lee, 5'5", produced and directed over 35 award-winning films and has examined racial relations and urban life in an honest, if not controversial way. John Leguizamo, 5'8", has won multiple awards for producing and acting in a wide variety of movies, plays, and TV shows. Mike Myers, 5'7", starred in comedies like SNL, Shrek, Austin Powers, and Wayne's World, which was based on the character he created. Aristotle, 5'5", remains to this day one of the most influential thinkers of all time, thousands of years after his death. Steven Spielberg, the Steven Spielberg, is 5'7". He's directed and produced some of the most popular and amazing movies ever made, such as E.T., Jaws, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, and Saving Private Ryan. F. Scott Fitzgerald, 5'7". He wrote The Great Gatsby. J.R.R. Tolkien wrote The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. He was 5'5". Ralph Lauren, 5'6", founded one of the most successful American clothing brands ever. Henry Toulouse-Lautrec made a name for himself as the best-known painter of the post-impressionist period. Gentlemen, he was just 4'11". Kanye West, 5'8", has won 21 Grammy Awards so far, has sold over 100 million albums, and has really pioneered the alternative rap genre. Bob Costas, 5'7", has hosted 9 and counting Olympic Games for NBC. Damon John, 5'7", founded the clothing company FUBU and is one of the investors on ABC's Shark Tank. Sean Shirk, 5'6", holds a 36-4 mixed martial arts record, including a win against Nick Diaz, while fighting in both the UFC and Pride. Danny Padilla, 5'2", earned the nickname The Giant Killer after repeatedly beating much taller men in international bodybuilding competitions. Alexander the Great, 5'6", created the largest political empire in the ancient world through military conquest, and he also spread Greek culture across the East. Franco Columbu, 5'5", achieved champion-level status in professional bodybuilding, Olympic powerlifting, and amateur boxing. Jet Li, just 5'6", became a national wushu champion and the action movie star and fight choreographer in China and America. Darren Sproles set records in college and professional sports as one of the shortest and most talented running backs in the history of the NFL. Simon Cowell, 5'8", he was the first judge on American Idol, and then he created the show The X Factor and signed a bunch of major musical acts to his own record label. Seth Green, 5'4", starred in movies like Austin Powers, created his own show, Robot Chicken, and he's the voice of Chris Griffin on Family Guy. Mark Anthony, 5'7", he's won 2 Grammy Awards and 5 Latin Grammy Awards, and he's acted in major Hollywood productions like Man on Fire. David Sedaris, one of my personal favorite authors, he's 5'5", he's written multiple New York Times bestsellers like Naked and Me Talk Pretty One Day that have sold over 10 million copies worldwide. Carlos Slim, known as the Warren Buffett of Mexico, he is one of the wealthiest people in the world, and he's built an investment and telecom empire. Jesse Eisenberg, 5'7", an amazing actor best known for his role as Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook in the movie The Social Network. By the way, Mark Zuckerberg is just 5'9". Gael Garcia Bernal, 5'6", an award-winning actor and director in both Mexico and the United States. Sergey Brin, 5'8", co-invented one of the world's most popular and profitable companies, Google. Giorgio Armani, also 5'8", founded the brand Armani and became one of the most successful fashion designers of all time. George freaking Lucas, 5'7", created Star Wars and Indiana Jones, among other things. And last but not least, Isaac Newton, at 5'6", he laid the groundwork for classical mechanics and pretty much invented the theory of gravity. Gentlemen, that's a very impressive list, and it's just a small sample, pun intended, of the short men who have helped shape the world and touch our lives in one way or another. Who did I miss? Leave a comment below to add your favorites to the list.